Welcome to today's episode, everyone. We've got a very exciting guest for you guys. For those of you just joining the podcast, we're E.N.G Media, and we specialize in helping software and tech companies scale their revenue. So if you want to learn how to take your software or tech business to the next level, make sure to stick around. And if you're interested in a free growth consultation, just drop us the word growth in the DMs. But without further ado, Srinivas, thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast. I'm really excited to dive into Sriya.AI, all the awesome things you guys are working on. So I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you very much. I'm really honored that you have asked us to come on. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, like I said, I'm super excited to dive in, and maybe we can just kick things off, by you giving us just a little bit of a, quick overview of what Sriya.AI really is and kind of what your guys' core areas of focus are, I guess.
Right. So I think I just posted today on LinkedIn a brand new post. We are probably the world's first LNM,
Uh-huh.
which is a large numerical model, which is was the LLMs for numbers.
Uh-huh.
And business runs on numbers, and LLMs don't work well on numbers.
Yeah.
And so there's a need for something comparable, and we have launched the world's first LLM. But today I posted that we actually went beyond that to what's called LLNM. We're actually a sandwich of two
Hmm.
technologies, language and numerical models. We've combined the
Oh, wow.
two into a very effective solution using agentic AI. So we try to solve business problems
Hmm.
and give ROI on AI, which I think is the number one prerequisite for any capital spend on any technology. And the
100%.
way we do that is we focus on outcomes and how to improve outcomes. So unless you have an improved outcome from where you are today to what you want to be the future, there is
Uh-huh.
no ROI. The rest of it is just pure, I would say, just discussion. But if
Right.
you have an improved outcome, then you have an ROI. And our technology is built and geared towards that single purpose.
100%. No, I love it. And I think as well, you guys are leveraging your LNM model really to provide like, fraud detection in a multitude of different industries. Could you maybe speak to some of the industries that you guys are specializing in?
Right. So we are focusing on three verticals, namely financials,
Hmm.
industrial supply chain, and healthcare in that order,
Nice.
even though we got our maximum, I would say, publications in healthcare.
Uh,
I'm really passionate because we can really make a big difference to people's lives and health. And
yeah.
we all know how healthcare is so expensive, and each of us get older,
Uh,
it gets more difficult.
sure.
So, but the three areas are financials. In financials, we're focusing on fraud, which is
Hmm.
very critical, and on late payments of loans or payment delays.
Oh,
In
wow.
healthcare, we are focusing on sepsis
Hmm.
and unplanned readmissions.
Huh.
And in industrials, we're focusing on supply chain
Uh-huh.
predominantly.
Okay.
Okay?
Awesome. I appreciate you giving us some background into really what your main focuses are and to hear about what you guys are doing in healthcare and the financial services industry. I mean, that is really awesome. I know I have previous corporate experience as well in the financial services space. Some people in my audience are, have worked for banks, commercial banks, auto financing banks as well. And so, if I were a potential financial services company, what would be some things that you would want me to know about Sriya's, I guess, AI that really would positively impact my business on the front of fraud detection, I
Right.
guess.
So fraud detection is all about identifying fraudsters before they can do fraud,
Mm,
right? And if they've done it, then it's really a waste, really. So, and
yeah.
that requires a very accurate and precise knowledge of their behavior
Yeah.
in terms of what they're doing, what they've done in the past, understanding. So that's where we come in. We
Mm,
have a pre-trained, pre-validated model, and we have done from credit card fraud to mortgage fraud to bank fraud to
wow.
crypto fraud to forex fraud to e-commerce fraud. All of them we have built the models. So these
Yeah.
models have been trained on a lot of data, and specifically so and what they are trained is to identify what's called fraudsters and eliminate what you call our false positives and false negatives. Right?
Uh-huh.
You don't want to say people are fraud when they're not,
Sure.
and you want to that really piss your customers off, excuse my French,
Yeah.
and also it will you want to also let people off
Right.
as not fraud. And so you want a very high level of what's called accuracy and precision. And our technology so far has given between 98 to 99.8%
Wow.
accuracy and precision in identifying fraud. And any financial institution which wants that level of accuracy, which could be a make or break between their business succeeding versus not, or
Yeah.
succeeding much better than what they are, would need us. And we have a cloud version and also an on-prem version. For those who
Mhm.
are very skeptical or not interested in sharing their data, we will bring the model to you. So you
Oh,
don't.
wow.
So within the firewall, within yours, so nothing. There will be no really breach of data at all, and it will
Right.
really train. So and it's completely self-serving and self-learning model.
Uh-huh.
So it's virtually very little room, and we have AI agents which can run the data, interpret, explain, and even implement.
Yeah.
So it can go all the way.
Wow. Awesome. I mean, that is so amazing. And I think the big thing that separates you guys as well, maybe from other AI fraud detection companies, is the amount of data that you have to leverage and the proprietary technology that you are using as well. Could you maybe speak to how that proprietary technology, without giving away too much information, really helps you guys achieve such a high level of accuracy?
Right. So what we follow is what is called as a super feature methodology, which I invented. What does it
Uh-huh.
mean? So when you look at a fraud, you are looking at hundreds of variables,
Okay.
right? And all these variables, like will have a certain weightage, which
Hmm.
constitutes towards when, and a certain weightage is more for certain variables for fraudsters and not fraudsters. So a
Yeah.
simple example is a
Uh-huh.
credit score. So credit score is one example successfully being used. So before credit score came, insurers or loaners had no clue really. They had to look at how many years of loans you had, how many loans you had, how, did you repay them, how many you're delinquent. Now you don't need to. You
Uh,
have a score, and the score says that if anything above 750 you are good, below 550 you are bad, and in between. Exact same principle. So we look at and we create what's called a fraud risk score. We
okay.
create a fraud risk score, a credit card fraud risk score, or a bank fraud risk score, and we score between 1 to 100.
Yeah.
And then we say that the cutoff is, let us say, 25. And we
Uh,
say anything above 25 is likely to be a fraudster. Higher the number, more likely it is going to be.
right.
So immediately you get a score of 28 and say, okay, this guy is likely, but 48, very likely.
Yeah.
So the bank can decide whether they want to approve the transaction at 48 or take two or three more levels of factor authorization, making
100%.
sure that the person is for real. So that is the level of comfort. So instead of dealing with 30, 40 variables, you're dealing with
Yeah.
one number.
Uh,
Okay? So you basically have a score and you have a cutoff score, and you know that whether you are in a safe zone, gray zone, or red zone,
100%.
and immediately the bank can take action. That is immediate for a bank or a
Yeah.
financial institution. Longer term,
Uh,
the score will also enable you to tell, okay, why am I getting so many people above 25? What should I do, or
uh,
what should the bank do to ensure that the practices change a bit so
yeah.
that my scores drop and I'm having a lot more comfortable range here? Okay, so
100%.
it will tell exactly the steps to do and the steps to avoid in
Yeah.
order to get the fraudsters uh, to be caught earlier or even prevented,
Yeah.
right? And that is what it does long term. But short term, it is very useful because it gives you a single number,
Uh-huh.
and you can use that number to tell, okay, what is going to happen, likely going to happen, and should the bank be taking extra precaution or not? Okay,
100%.
that's how it is.
Awesome. How awesome. And I think that that speed is so important in the financial services industry because in just seconds it could really result in like large substantial amounts
Yes,
of financial losses. I mean, seconds. Uh,
yes,
even in the crypto space as well, I was talking to somebody in, the tech space yesterday and they mentioned a stat and I'll have to find exactly where they found it, but there's like like over tens of millions of dollars being lost every single day just through transactions in the crypto
absolutely.
market.
Because crypto, I think, is probably. the worst because you have no idea where it is coming from. It
Right.
could be anywhere in the world. It is a lot more deregulated. There are no regulations. So I think crypto fraud is going to increase exponentially over time as the crypto transactions also increase. So I think it is so. The credit card fraud is between 3.5 to 8%.
Oh,
So
okay.
it is not insignificant. They are
Sure.
so again, but crypto fraud could really get humongous, and it's the Sriya's technology will actually study what has happened in the past
Uh,
and commit scores and basically give a score for every crypto transaction, and it will say this transaction is way above the safe limit.
yeah.
Now, the bank can decide to reject slash get more authorization or
Oh,
authentication.
wow.
Okay?
100%. And yeah, really I think, a use case where I could see what, Sriya.AI is doing is, especially in the auto financing space, which is where I had a lot of corporate experience as a credit analysis, where we were making decisions on credit applications that a lot of the times their legacy system was a little bit dated, I would
Right.
say, and traditional to where it wasn't able to make automated decisions. And it made a lot of mistakes as well, which put the bank, I won't say any names, but at, a lot of financial stress, I would say as
Yeah,
well. So
also
I
a lot
know,
of times you're also sending lending money to companies and they don't have credit
right.
scores like individuals,
Yeah,
and a lot of times they may not commit fraud, but they may be delinquent or they may be
right.
more likely to become late, and that is as bad because you're going to lose.
100%.
So we actually helped a company,
Mhm.
and we told they were this is a company which was actually like purchasing your ARR in advance. So if you had a ARR, if you had 50 companies giving you a monthly, they bought all the 50 accounts and they paid you in advance 80%, 70% a year, and their
Oh, wow.
job was to collect all the money. But they found that we showed them that contrary to intuition,
Hmm.
a company above 55 million in revenue was more likely to default than below. They didn't
Huh.
really believe us. So they
Uh,
went back and checked, and they found actually dead. That they found that so the question they asked us is, so should we stop taking any account above 55? I said no, you should not. You should take them, but with a lot more caution,
yeah.
and make sure you have the right guardrails so that
Right.
they don't you know because if you may have 100 accounts and 80 of the small accounts doing very well, but if two large accounts fail, the company can go bankrupt. So
Right.
that's exactly what could happen. So okay.
100%. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree. I think I couldn't have said it better myself, really. And I know that, for anybody in the financial services industry, maybe they work for, let's just say, a larger bank, or, they're in the crypto market, whatever the case is, when they hear about, how important like accurate AI really is, and how you guys as well, you have a 98, 99% score of accuracy when it comes to fraud detection. What does the process looks like for somebody who wants to be able to integrate with your guys's AI solutions?
Right. So we have a pre-trained model, and
Nice.
we basically once you can subscribe it through our website, and we basically will allow you to download, and
Uh,
it'll give you some credits. The credits are against consumption of data. And
gotcha.
once you're able to subscribe, it'll allocate a certain number of credits to you. And once you can download the whole installation, it'll basically an AI agent will step up and will unload and install,
Oh,
and
wow.
then it will basically tell you exactly how to. You could on a conversational front end, you
Mhm.
could actually it will walk you through this, what is the problem you have, what exactly do you want to do, where is the data, do you have a single data or you have multiple sources, do you have it in databases, in files, and then how in tables, and how do we get them. It'll actually uh, pull them, assemble them, create a master data, show it to you, and once you're satisfied, it'll run and give the results. And
Yeah.
then when the results come, it'll say, okay, here's what is happening right now. And it say, okay, now what do you want to do with it? Okay, oh, I
Yeah.
want to like reduce my fraud rate from 6% to 4%. Okay, what should I do? It'll
100%.
then go back and actually recalculate the whole, recalibrate it. So this is exactly the 5 things you should do to change that. And then here is how you do them also.
Oh,
So it
wow.
goes all the way, what I call what, when, where, why, and then the
Mhm.
how.
I
Okay?
got you. 100%. So that makes a lot of sense. And it sounds really like such an easy process that
Yes,
the
it's quite
majority.
an easy process, and
Yeah.
because we have on-prem solution, there
Mhm.
is no really a problem or any risk of data being put on the cloud or we also have a cloud AWS based solution too.
Yeah.
For those who want to utilize, there's a slight difference in pricing and in terms
Okay.
of convenience, but that's a call which each company can make or each bank can make as to what is best choice for them. We have both
100%.
versions.
I love it. I think that there's, a lot of pressure from higher ups and board of directors for a lot of these financial institutions to be implementing AI to become more efficient and to keep up with everything that's going on in the market. So, little things like seamless integration is huge when it comes to actually being able to implement a lot of the and be agile kind of in the technology that you're really looking to use. And so, for anybody that's maybe listening to this podcast, I know you guys are bringing awareness to everything that Sriya is doing, but from a marketing perspective as well, like I'm always curious to know, would you mind sharing any insights into how you guys are getting in front of your ICP in a meaningful way and showing them some of the awesome stuff that you're working on?
So we have a very good bunch of team members, and I always believe in a simple that if you can't convince people you know, you can't convince people you don't know.
Mm,
So basically, the first thing we go is to try out, reach out people. So I have assembled a team of about 20 advisors, venture partners. You see a website, you
right.
see all of them. And all of them have at least 3 to 5 connections whom they are very comfortable in reaching out. And that's our first step. We don't do cold calling or cold emailing to start with because the
Nice.
hit rate is very low.
Yeah.
Once you have because the reason for that for us is that once we are inside one company and one model is working, we
Mhm.
probably will be in them for next 10 models.
Oh,
Because
wow.
the company could be doing in fraud, company could be doing in payments, company could be doing in loans, in claims. So you have various things to take care of,
Yeah.
and so our goal is not volume of customers, but volume of models. That's how our thing works.
Nice.
So we basically focus on that, uh, and so that is our primary. And second, a secondary reach out is basically posts on LinkedIn and
Yeah.
other areas that we have this technology, but that's more secondary. The primary is really still first level connections.
Yeah. Awesome. Very smart strategy. And I appreciate you sharing those insights. I think nothing beats relationships. And it really sounds
Right.
like that's where
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
coming in and
Basically, yeah.
leveraging.
If, for example, you and I met today, and
Uh,
if I can't convince you, then I won't be able to convince somebody uh, I didn't meet at all.
in a
Okay,
100%.
that's how it is, and so that the trust comes from on the person, and
Yeah.
then from the person to the science and technology behind. Okay,
Right.
so the first is the personal to person level trust, which is very critical.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Another very important thing which I take care of is we don't overpromise, and
uh,
because we are scientists, so I'm a person who
yeah,
believes that result is the mother of all theory.
I
Okay.
love that.
So unless you have a result which shows the value, there's no point giving theoretical, hypothetical statements. I always say,
Right.
don't trust me, trust the results. So let us try it out, try all the data, you
Yep.
see the results, you like it, continue. Otherwise, you don't. Because we are scientists, we're not going to tell you things like salespeople will say, we'll do all these things on earth. We always say is, we are capable of doing great things, but trust your data and your
Yep.
results. That's what matters. Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think results are really the key there. And then as well,
Yeah.
you guys also have that second layer of, inbound strategy as well, where you're posting this content. People are already searching for, and I think inbound has really been amplified over the past few years, especially in the AI space, with everybody searching for these
Yeah,
AI
they are all
solutions.
searching for something or the other, and they're trying
Yep.
to find us. Right? Absolutely. So being relevant, being posting, is critical.
Yeah.
Is very important. We haven't reached that level of where I've had a lot of inbound yet. I'll be
Yeah.
honest, but hopefully it will change. But I know, but you got to continue the process.
100%. Yep. Getting on podcasts like this, hopefully this is something that can
Yes,
help.
yes, and that's why. Yes, thank you. I do. Getting podcast, getting in front of the audience is very
Yeah.
critical. I also believe in having a lot of channel partners,
Yeah.
venture partners. Another one-liner of mine is
Mhm.
something of something is infinitely better than 100% of nothing.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, something of something is infinitely better than 100% of nothing. So
Boom.
you're better off finding people, sharing with them, sharing your, so that all of us win together, as
Yep.
opposed to, oh, I want everything for myself, and yes, you have 100%, but you're nothing. So
Exactly.
so we believe in that. That's why we are going after getting right people to join us.
Yeah.
Your company, your viewers, we
Yeah.
would love to have channel partners interested. We have a great partnership program. Be with us because
Yeah.
it is a very exciting journey because we have something which nobody in the world has,
Right.
and we want it to be democratized so that it's available to as many as possible. You know?
100%. Yeah, I love that. I love your whole outlook on that. Just kind of recapping, something of something is better than 100% of nothing. I love that.
It's infinitely better. It's
Yeah,
not just better.
infinitely.
It's
Yeah.
infinitely better. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I love that.
Okay. Yeah.
How awesome. And anybody that's listening to this and is curious on where Sriya.AI is looking to grow, like, so like I guess my question is, what are some goals for your guys' company in terms of growth? I know you mentioned you're looking to find channel partners as well, so that anybody on the
Yeah.
podcast or anybody.
Our main goal really is to be an IPO by 2028. Okay.
Nice.
Okay. We want to go and ring the Nasdaq bell. Today, Chime did that. Maybe 2028, 29, Sriya will do that. So that's our goal. And to achieve the goal, we have to hit a few milestones, namely
Okay.
get big revenue, get
Yeah.
traction, get investor. So they're working in the direction. Also, to get customers, again, I always say that you don't do what the customers want or what you want. So I
Mhm.
always ask the question, because when I was having my first company IPO, I believe in '96,
Mhm.
somebody asked me, Dr. Kilambi, did the dog eat the dog food? I had no idea what he was asking because there was no dog and no dog food. But what now I know that what he meant is the dog is if you made a dog food, is your dog eating it? And
Mm.
so if you made LNM or technology like this on
Yeah.
fraud, are the banks or the customers using them? If they don't use them,
Mhm.
then it doesn't really matter how good it is. Okay,
Sure.
so that's critical for us to get the point across that our technology is great, but more important than the technology is the
Mm.
outcome we generate, uh, because uh, because customers buy on outcomes, not on the
Sure.
technology. They care. So I think that's the focus which we are doing a lot in that direction.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that, people think AI is just a buzzword and that it's not actually backed by results, and like the accuracy can be questionable with certain companies. And, maybe that's true, maybe that's not. But I love bringing people such as yourself onto the podcast
Yeah,
that
so one
actually
of
have
the, you're right,
measurable
accuracy
results.
is questionable, especially for LLMs, because they're trying to train in different contexts, multiple. So, for example,
Mhm.
if you are doing financial fraud LNM, why does the model need to know about healthcare readmissions? It's, it, so, or supply chain in a manufacturing shop, you don't need them. So
Right.
the question is, if you are able to segregate them and keep them in silos and build curated vertical outcome-specific models,
Mhm.
your accuracies will be far higher. If you're trying to do like a mother of all and
Yeah.
master of none, like then you basically are going to get a lot of errors or hallucinations as they call, which is nothing but it's a glorified term for gross errors,
Oh,
and that is the reason. So in the I think the push for newer and newer LLMs, people are ignoring that they're making so many mistakes that sometimes it causes a lot of it could cause a lot of crucial things. It can make a big
yeah.
difference. I heard that in one company went
Uh-huh.
based on an LLM based lawsuit or law, and they lost
Oh,
the case, and the company had to cancel the whole contract with them because
yeah.
they filed in the wrong court or the wrong section. So
Oh my
when
gosh.
you make mistakes like that, then it is, yeah, it's called hallucination, but that's it kill a business, you know.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I
But
think
if
that,
you're trained specifically in that domain
yeah.
and you get accuracy of 99%, it's very unlikely to
Yeah.
see that.
100%. And really, I couldn't have said it better myself again. And really, with your expertise, do you have any advice or recommendations for maybe another, AI founder that's looking to build out a LNM solution, really to be able to stand out in the market and to have a successful company? Do you have any key advice for them?
Yeah, I think I'll have basically what I would say is what is that one is find out what your custom first of all do what the customers want or the pain point, not just
Yeah.
what you want. Another thing is a lot of times people put the technology first. So I say let the dog wag the tail, not tail
Mm.
wag the dog. So the dog is the business and the tail
Yeah.
is technology. You let the dog wag the tail. Okay, you never see a tail wagging the dog. If that happens, you're a disaster. So that's I think is to me a lot of times technologists start just building stuff without knowing what they're building and for whom they're building and why they're building. And I think that has to be stopped if successful AI companies or AI companies have to see success.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think it's like get partners, get early adopters, get
Nice.
some financiers so that you got a broader reach.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that reach is what's going to make you win or lose.
100%.
And
Yeah.
also, most important, get advisors because even the best of the people, you needs advice, and
Yeah.
having people better than you in different aspects giving you advice is worth a lot. So a lot of times people don't do that
Yeah.
because they don't want to dilute, they want to give equity. That's stupid, in my opinion. They should do that.
100%. Yeah, I really appreciate the insights for our audience. Hopefully that didn't go over anybody's head. I think that, I really do agree with your advice there. And if there is anybody that watches this podcast and maybe they want to connect with yourself or they want to check out what Sriya.AI is doing outside of your guys' website, what would be the best social media platform for them to go and connect with you?
So we have a LinkedIn page,
Nice.
and also I am also very active on LinkedIn. The company is also very active. You can definitely do that. We have a YouTube page too, but also we have emails. So yes, you can reach us in different format. But LinkedIn would be a very good way for us to reach us.
Awesome. I'll be sure to include the links in the description of
Yeah,
this video.
absolutely,
I
absolutely.
highly recommend that you guys do go check out Sriya.AI and all the awesome things that they're working on. But, really, other than that, thank you so much again, Srinivas, for your time and for your insights today.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Absolutely. And thank you guys. We'll catch you guys in the next video.